Hello and welcome to this third tutorial. Now we will talk about grooming, and you might have been wondering when we will discuss that point, and that's it. We're going to talk about it. So I have a demo head project that I created to showcase those features. So I will create a new project like test 1, test tutorial, okay. And I will create it. To do this project, I started from a model that you can download from ArtStation and Gumroad, created by a guy called Baovu. So I'm going to show you the man here. So yeah, he did this likeness sculpt of Michael Fassbender, the actor, and you can download it. Not as detailed as what you have here, but you can download the base mesh, and I thought it was a nice example to start, and I don't have the time to create everything from scratch, so you can get this model from him, and or just create your own model and work on your own stuff. So that's it. Okay, so let's grab everything in the scene. So we have two ways to import stuff in the scene. We could import by Maya import, etc. But we will do using this quick item browser that I have here. We're going to select the head here. So it's loaded, and it's imported in a group called add_geo_group, which can be hidden or templated, which will be useful later on. Then we could import haircuts if we had haircuts created by another software or another plugin. There are a bunch of different ones available, and Coiffure is like, you could use Coiffure whatever you want without the functionality of Coiffure. It's up to you. At any point you can get back on your feet and keep working. So let's say we have a couple of haircuts in our scene. For example, here I have like creating them and importing them. So let's say it's like a couple of them here, like that. Okay, and we have like a couple of them here. We could just we could import a file, or we could just simply select those one and click on pick here. It's important to select them this way, so Coiffure is aware that you have this type of haircuts in the scene. And you will see here, if I'm looking at the node here, the saving node, I use a bunch of them everywhere to track information of the tools. And here we see we have haircut 1 and 2, and they are stored in the memory, so we will be able later to use them. What you can also do is import some curves. Let's do it like that. And this is a groom that I did in Xgen, and I converted everything to curves, and I want to use them to create ribbon. So for those who might not know this feature, it's inside Maya. So we'll just duplicate this guy here and move this one here, and here we are. Might just center pivot. Okay. And the thing here is like, if I go there, let's hide this for now here, and if I go here, we have this Maya bonus tool that you have to install on the website of Autodesk, and it's not created by default, so you have to install it. And then you have this feature here called ribbon to curve to ribbon meshes here. So once you create this one here, it will create for you a geometry. One thing that you can notice right now is like it's not oriented properly. So let's fix this. You will see the true power of ribbons. It's like here we have some bunch of parameter here, and we can adjust the orientation. We can adjust the subdivision here. We can adjust the subdivision in the width. We can set a taper value. We can twist them. Obviously we need more subdivision to do it properly here, like that. You can twist it this way. We could change the width, etc, etc. So they are really interesting because they can be customizable, and yeah, you know, it's like you get the possibility to edit them. And also, if you're moving the parent curve here, they are following this curve, and you can edit the shape even after you're creating the polygons. So it's very interesting, sorry. And that's what I use for the previous project that I did. And when you are using it, you will discover that they are powerful, but they also have some limitations, and some of them are quite annoying if you're using them often. So you could use those type of haircuts if you want. It's totally up to you. You would load them as meshes in the system. So I won't do it for this one, and I might, you know, I might do a quick quick example here. So let's select everything here. Let's, you know, hide this one here. Maybe not everything, because I know that, yeah, for example, let's do on those ones, and let's create everything here. We might just, you know, recreate a new project right after it to refresh things, or, you know, just clear the interface a bit. But let's do this like modeling here, convert everything to ribbon, and you will see what's wrong with those ribbon. So it will take a while because yep, it's a long process. Okay, so we are waiting for it. Okay, so here we have the result of the ribbons, and what you can notice is, like, on this side it's pretty much perfect. Like, everything is oriented correctly. We have like those two here that are not quite right so far, so I'm going to quickly edit them here like that. And this, it's starting on this point to be not oriented as I would like to do. So at this point it's like starting to become like you have to rotate everything, and they're not always sharing the same angle, so sometimes you will, you know, fix that for a certain angle and it won't work for the other one. So it could quickly take, like, I wouldn't say hours, but long minutes of hard work to get everything aligned properly. One other issue that I have with ribbon is, like, if you're going to the UVs and you select this one, for example, and let's say we are trying to fit strand position like that. So I'm going to shrink this one and place it here, and say we have hair on top of it. If I select this one again and I'm starting to add a couple of subdivision, you will see, like, whoa, the UVs are completely scrambled, and at this moment you just have to recreate the UVs, and it's like painful and it's sad because that's not what we expect from this change of value. And the last thing, which is sad as well, is like they are customizable, but if you try to duplicate the geometry by clicking on Ctrl D, it will bake all the features that you had earlier, so you won't be able to edit anymore. There is no curves inside this one, so you could not shape it again. It's just basically geometry, and it's non-interactive. The parameters are here, but everything is broken, so there is nothing else to do with this one, and that is very sad. That's why I decided to implement my own ribbon system, which is basically the same things, that I showed you earlier, but which take care of what is missing from my point of view on those type of meshes. So let's delete everything here and let's import the curves once again, and let's try with this. So I would like to say that I have like 1,000 of curves, so it might not be the best way to proceed, because that's a lot of curves and it will generate a lot of polygons, but it's a demo, and you know, I was not really into you know, polygon optimization. So let me create those one right away. Okay, so let's create them. First we will open the ribbon tool here and put this thing here, sorry, over there. And the first step that we have to do excuse me. First we have to select a scalp geometry. So if I go there, I can't select anything here because it was templated before. So let's bring this one here, select it and lock it again. So now every time we will hit the convert button, the tool will look at the normal of the scalp, and it will try to use this information to orient the ribbon. It's not 100% perfect, and you will see the result, but I think it did a decent job, and at least it will speed up your work. So let's convert everything. As I said, there is thousands of curves, so it will take a while. Or at least I have a loading widget, so a progress window, so at least you know how long it will take. And we are almost done. Okay, look at this, they're coming, and voila, here we are. So the first thing that you can notice is like we have everything almost aligned perfectly. There are a couple of them, like time to time it's not working. For example, those one are not good, but I know it's very easy to select them and fix them. You can, as you see here, select the curve or the polygon. It will work because we are here in this UI, and anytime you select something you will have control over it like that, so you could, you know, change things. So I changed too many things on this one here, so I just scrambled everything. But you know, if I just had selected a few of them, it would have been easier to tweak. Okay, so I have to admit that some of them are not working. I would say like 80% of the results are good to use and like 20% are missing. But sometimes it's also because like it's also a matter of taste. Where should the hair be? Sometimes it's also because like we want to orient them because of a certain point of view, and mathematically it's not possible to get a sense of what the artist would expect from every angle. So sometimes, yeah, math are not enough, and you will have to correct this by yourself. Because for example, if you take this one in account from the top perspective, which was this one, which was correct for this one, it's not good from this point of view. So you will just have to change them quickly, and there is no magic button in 3D, but at least you know it saves some time, and I hope you will have less work on this than doing it by yourself using the normal ribbons. So that's my update on this particular issue. So I won't do anything more here because it's just a demo. Okay, so let's say we are happy with this. What can we do with those haircuts? First thing to notice is like here we have a little checkbox here which will make sure that you are always revolving the UVs when you are moving this parameter. And for now there is nothing to care about here, but if I shrink down and do the same thing that we did earlier with the ribbon here, and then change the subdivision, you see it's exploding and it's correcting once again. So there is just one thing to have in mind is like it takes some computation to do it. In fact, there is one thing I'm struggling with, one point, which is like UVs, if I want to rotate them, I have to select everything. So if I select all the UVs for all the different air cards, it will take a very long amount of time. So by default it's checked, but you can also uncheck that, and if you uncheck that you will see that yeah, it's not working anymore. So let's select these again here. Yeah, it's not working if you're selecting the UVs, you have to select the object. But if I, change the subdivision, now it's broken again. But you have here a manual fix button which will fix everything. So it's a combination of both. You could use only automatic UVs, but at some point you might be disappointed because it's slow. So it depends on what you're expecting and what you can do and what you want to do. That's the first thing. So let's grab one of these and let's see what we have as parameters. So in here I'm just, I'm going to hide this thing here. We have lots of parameter here. So if we go in here, we can change the orientation, as you've seen. We can set the width with different parameter. We can change the curvature. We can make it taper or not. You can twist this. We can change the subdivision, the way they are distributed. We can change the UVs in both ways, and if you've never seen the curvature, it's basically creating this type of I don't know how to say it, curvature effect. And we can fix the UVs obviously. There is also a way to switch the axis of rotation, and sometimes it could be useful to change it, because under the hood what we have here is like, I'm going to show you, oh, and it's not selected, so I will have to find it somehow, where it is, which we have 9, number 9, 900, yeah. So if we see here and we grab this one here, yeah, here we have this curvature profile here, and basically when you are rotating it, if I select this one here, you will see that this one is actually rotating, and this is this curve that which gave the directionality of the air strand. So basically, if you can change the angle of rotation, and sometimes it will give you better result. But normally default parameter should be fine. It's just an option for more control. So let's get out of it and let's select this one here, and let's hide this curve. So I didn't talk about it, but we have the visibility parameter. We have visibility parameter for the selection here. So if I'm going here, I can, show, hide, or template this geometry. But we could also do the same thing for the curves. And we could do it on a global level as well, which means that everything will be hidden or templated or shown, depending on which of the button you click. So that's all about it. And the last feature, and I'm quite happy with this, is like you can duplicate them like that. So I just click on Control D to duplicate them. And what you have here is what you should have expect from the Maya's ribbon system. It's like it's creating a new ribbon here, and I can tweak the parameter once again and adjust how I want. So there is nothing, it's not anymore baked and destroyed. Now it's full interactive, so anytime you're creating something new, you can still change it, and also you can like change the shape of it by moving this vertex, those control points on the curves, and create something different if you want. So that's, I think it's a great feature for this one. You can duplicate a couple of them. Selection, you can duplicate selection, you can duplicate them one by one. You're free to go with this, and they are automatically known by the system, so you don't have to click on select aircard meshes, they are already inside it. So that's it for this function. I'm looking if I'm missing something here, but I think I covered everything here. So now it's time to talk about the brushes. Here we have two brushes. The first one here, which will create just basic air cards like this. So if you click on the surface, it will create a curve, and when you drag the mouse, you can rotate this thing here. So you can rotate on one axis by just clicking on the left button. If you press the middle mouse button, it will change the axis of rotation. And if you press and hold, so still the left button and the right button, it will change from a new angle of rotation. And you can also press Control to start changing the size of the control. And I think I just lost this one. Okay, I've been too far, so I'm going to delete this one, and I'm going to show you some examples. So we have different profile here, and basically we create some, like, very simple ribbon. And for now their orientation is a bit crazy, because it's a combination between the surface normal and the way I'm rotating it, so it depends of the profile as well here, and you get different results. So that's it's basically I did it for, like, it was free, because I was just testing things out, so you get access to it. I don't know if some people will use it, but at least it's in it's in the tool, and it could be useful for some people, and it's okay. However, we have another one which might be more useful here, and which is about, like, you like a curve, like let's say this one here. So you just select this one as a copy target here, and when you will click on the button here, you will actually duplicate this particular one. And contrary to the Control D, this one will be on the surface of the scalp, so you might not lose time on trying to orient position the tip on the surface of the scalp. So it's another way to work with this. I don't know if people will use it, but it's inside the tool, so you can do it. It's up to you. I think I've covered everything on this part, so we might see other thing later on, but at least for now it's good. We're ready to proceed here and work on the UVs. So let's say we've tricking the texture, the mesh, we've put everything carefully, and we like what we have. Now it's time to show some hair on top of those. So how do we do it? First we will go to this Groom outliner, and we will, as you could do in Xgen, create a different scalp, so one scalp per type of textures. So let's say we could create some template called hair for the hair, but you could have created another one for the beard as well, one for the eyebrow, etc, etc. And for each of them you will have a UV template that you can bring and use for your air cards or polygons or whatever you want. So let's bring something here, and let's use what did we create it earlier? I can't remember the name of the texture. It was this one, I guess. No, it's not this one. Was it this one here? No, I don't remember if I saved it, because maybe I've forgot. Yeah, I might have forget to actually save it properly. Okay, so it's not here. I might have did something wrong, but it's okay. You know what? You know what? We will do things properly. We are going to, because you know everything is iterable. I know what I can. You know, I will just use this and save what I've done here. So let's take a picture, set that it's in progress, and let's reopen the texture that we created in the previous video, and let's see why don't we have the template ready. It's mostly because I forgot to save it. So let's see it. Okay, so we bring back the interface here. I'm loading the launch tool. Yeah, I didn't save it. So let's click on the UV box button because we knew that everything was correct. Save it, close it, go back to the tool here, and we're working on test tutorial, if I'm right. Okay, and so I have nothing here, but here if I go on tutorial UV, because I think it was this one. Yep, it's back on track. We have everything. So you can see here, it's like what? It was like 3 clicks. I was 3 clicks away to get this template back on track. So it's very fast and very intuitive. Now what we can do, and you might have started to figure it out, is like we have different groups here. Each of them represents a strand type. Here we have number 1, number 2, etc. They all have a different color to help us to work with. And if we are selecting strand here, it could be also the curves. It won't work with the normal Maya ribbon. You will need to select the geometry, or if you use hair that you created from another software or another way. If it's just polygonal meshes, you will have to select the polygonal meshes. But if you do this using my ribbon, you could use the ribbon and the curves. And you see here, every time I click here, I change the UVs and I change the meshes here, and it's assigning a group of strand here. And so let's open the UVs back again and see what it's doing under the hood here. So if I'm here, I don't see anything because I didn't select the polygon here. But let's see here, we have the polygon here, and let's switch from different group, and you see automatically the UVs are reassigned. It's basically just scaling them, so it's nothing fancy. It will depend on how they look based on their subdivisions, and you might want to tweak later, but at this step it's more useful to keep everything working this way. And so you can change it anytime. And here we have three visualization options. Here we can switch from flat color to alpha. So if you go to alpha, you will have your color for the different groups, and the alpha will be cut out, and you will have hair. Obviously, you could display the textures as well, and you could also bring the normal map information here, and it can help to have a better view depending on what you are working on. Here you have the shader parameter, because basically it's just a blend shader underneath, so you can change the way the specular looks like, etc, etc. Since we are using this template, the tool know where the texture are, and because we baked everything earlier, we have the albedo, alpha and normal maps, so they will be loaded by default, but you could still change the path if you want, or if you did something without using Coiffure before. So if you're using texture that you've created from another software and they don't show up, you just have to go here and set the map by yourself. That's it. So basically now the workaround is like, I will select, so you could select like a couple of them like that and add everything to a group like this. So it takes just a few seconds, because yeah, you have to change the UVs every time, so just take a few seconds. I might, you know, hide the curves so it's easier to see what's going on here, but you see we have nice result already without doing anything. And at this point, one thing that I would do if I were you, and you know, we are all lazy, so what we will do is like I will grab a couple of them here. Oh, sorry, they are unselected. Okay, so now they're selected again. And what I would do is like I would go here and click on shuffle selection here, and I would activate all the group, and basically it will assign those air cards randomly across those different groups. So if I click on shuffle, it will take a few seconds, and you will see that you get so let's switch to flat color to see the result. But you see here everything is like scrambled and we have different colors everywhere. So you could obviously decide which groups you want to assign. So the best workaround is to have the UVs on your right, sorry, and know which group is which group is what, and later to decide properly and, you know, carefully which group should be assigned to this selection. You could even make some selection group, for example, depending on the length or the way where the hair are on the scalp or stuff like that. But basically you could very carefully assign them, but also with more flexibility using this random algorithm. And if you're not happy, you could also, so you can switch an object from group to group, or you can also remove it, and it will just, you know, basically go back to a default state. I don't know why it's hidden here. Oh yeah, it's hidden because it's put back in this folder here, which was hidden before. But nothing disappeared, it's okay. So that's it for this part. And one other benefits here is like we have some visibility parameter here. So here we could like hide the different scalp. So let's say we have a beard and hair, we could hide hair. So you see here it's not like nothing is not everything is hidden, it's just the polygon that were in the groups. So as you can see here, those ones are currently not inside this type of hair, but you can access the visibility here. That's it. For now, it could be useful to change the visibility. You could change the visibility per strand here. So then I don't want to see those one, I don't want to see those one. So if your group are carefully created, like for small hair, some group for medium hair, using this little checkbox, you will be able to hide, show and protect whatever you want. So it could be very interesting. And also one other thing that's worth mentioning is like if I go here, let's see what's happening here. So let's select this one here and let's, you know, change the UV. So you see that they are exploding and they are restored. And also they're restored based on their current UV's position. So it's, you know, it's not just creating square UVs like to default, it's also assigning the UVs that this where this mesh belong. So that's also another cool thing. One thing that you can do here is like we are going to, let's assign on this one, the first one here, the this one here, and let's see them with like, okay, let's see this one here. So this you know is the bigger strand here, and you know what, one thing that we can do is, like I said, it's interactive and iterative. So what does it mean with textures? Like you go here, you change your template here, so I will just shrink it like crazy, and you will see normally we should have like 2 strands here looking like that, so it would look ugly, but it's just a test. So I will save it. Okay, and now I can use this button to reload this template. So let's reload this one here. So it will take a while because it will update everything. And when I switch back to alpha, so yeah, you see here what's going on here. It's like we are automatically adjusting everything. So every time there is loose like ginger hair, you see here, it's updated automatically. So we could do this for everything. We could, for example, go back and change totally the way the the strands are displayed here in the previous step. Like if we go back to the airboard, change everything, we can change everything, load everything, and it will be new change will be updated in one click. It could also have a couple of Maya opens, one for different strand, and you can modify them at the same time, so you don't have to save and close and load everything back. You can just have two Maya open. So let's bring this back again here. So yeah, sometimes they are a bit tricky to manipulate, so one thing that we can do here, maybe do this. Yeah, it's working like that. Okay, so save it again, and you know what, just for the sake of demonstration here, let's delete everything here, and let's get back with, so it takes some time to update the visibility, but it's not my fault, it's Maya. And you see here we have the result that we had earlier. So that's already very cool. So let's you know what, let's shuffle assign everything. I have some issue here, but it's not my fault. Once again, it's like some hypershade issues, so I'm not guilty for this. And let's shuffle everything. So it will assign them between the different groups. Take a while because we have like a lot of them here. So here we are. You can see here with the flat color, it's even more. Also, let's add normal here. And so let's say for example you want to test things quickly, or you already have different hair template that you want to use across different characters. So one thing that you can do here is like you can select an existing one, like I don't know, this one here should be good, and you will see that it will bring everything and update everything. So let's see this template in action here. So it's looking like that, and have you I don't know if you've seen, but everything changed its color, so now it's fitting this color template. They are also, no, it was the same number of category, I don't know, but basically if there were not enough category, new one will be created, and you know, shadow will be assigned. The one which were in group 7 will be in group 7 once again. And you know what, if I switch to alpha, textures, normal, with everything here, and everything is updated, and I had nothing to do. Obviously it's wrong because I did like something crazy and I don't really look at what was going on, but you know, if you're experimenting or working on multiple assets, it could be a nice way to save some time, so that's cool. I think I've covered everything from this point. Yeah, I think we're good to go. So one thing that you have to remember, you can reload, switch template, modify template, assign different hair strand, go back and forth, try new things. That's the way to go. So at this point we will save, because it's always a good idea to save it here, like this. I don't know if I mentioned before, but here we have like a true Maya window, so when you want to frame your object, you just have to move inside it with, you know, normal Maya pan view, and you can take your picture and save the groom here. Okay, so now that we are ready, there is one more step here, and I think I've documented, yeah, here. But basically one thing that usually people do is like they're using a dummy mesh to transfer the normal from a more a more smooth model onto those air cards, which are aligned like, you know, they are aligned like there is no sense in the alignment except that you want to face a certain direction. But if you're looking at each normal, let's bring back default one here. Yeah, if you look in here, like, okay, I didn't spend a lot of time to match the the normal, but you know, if you're looking at this from this angle, it's harsh, and there are other places where it's not working correctly. And for example, you can see here one example of this in this tutorial here, still the same tutorial here. Vadim is actually doing this for the small baby hair here. So if you see here, if you are doing this and everything has its own normal, you will see this type of result, like everything is the normal information is completely different on every hair, and so it's like kind of ugly in the viewport when you're rendering with everything. So the solution is to transfer the attributes from another geometry. So when it comes to like fuzz, and it's very easy because you just have to select the geometry underneath and it works quite well. But when it comes to hair, you have to create something that fits somehow the shape of the hair. So I just created, and it could be anything really. It's not something that is that you need to take a great deal of attention. So I will just, you know, create. I've created something which is like this ball here, very simple, and I will just click on transfer and hide. It will take a couple of seconds, and we'll have the result right away. So let's wait for it. And one more second. In fact, it's not something which is like very long, but since we're working on different meshes, I have to find a way to do it properly and fast. And you know, if I would have select them each one by one and transfer it, it would have taken a very long time. So I had to find other way to do it. And yeah, because I forgot a bit, here we have a warning message, and what it's saying is actually, if I'm going here to do this type of baking the information, what I did is like I killed everything here, and it's not interactive anymore. So let's see, we have like no more parameter, and it would be set in a software which is iterative, that at the end you save your tool, and just before you want to test it out, you kill everything, you destroy everything. So it would be very sad if you could not adjust. So let's so yeah, I forgot to say, but the ribbon can be edited from this transform node here or by the menu. So you know, if you could not edit after you do this normal process, it would be for me at least, it would be an issue. So that's why we're creating a duplication here. And we put it on the side, so you don't mess around with this. And it will be, when you will export it, it will be used for export. So for example, if you want to add a couple of new subdivision here, that could be the moment to do it. You could merge everything at this point if you want. It's okay. And you could, you know, change the subdivision and stuff like that. But let's say we are happy with this. The last thing that we have to do is to export it. So I will just merge the ribbon here. I will copy the texture and export the geometry, and I can like create a bones. Let's show that quickly. Let's create a bone here. Skeleton, create joint here. Okay, let's put it here. So basically it's just a couple of presets that will help you to export and test in engine, but it's not something that you might need to do for your actual character, because it depends on your pipeline, and I'm not aware of what you are doing. So it's, you know, more like if you want to test things out, or just quickly export the shape and you will later bring that to your pipeline. But you know, it's just something that will speed up the process, but is not the end process. So I will set this join here. I will select FBX. I could have selected a couple of them, and I will click on export. And it will take also a couple of seconds. Okay. So wait, yeah, still waiting for it. I will later. I think I will add a progress window in the future release. I will fix this in the future video and in the future update. And here we have we can open the folder here. So what is created is like here we get the texture that we've baked. Everything will be transferred automatically. And here we have the FBX. So let's close this scene. Let's save it again, and let's hide this by creating new scene here. Okay, and let's open our result here, and here we have our result here, and everything has been exported, and you can test it in Xgen very quickly. So that's it for this tutorial. I don't know how long it was, but it's maybe like 2 hours and a half or 2 hours that we are talking about the tool. As you have seen, like I put a lot of work in the user experience, the features, and I hope you don't mind that it was so long to discover the tool, but I think you will get access to a lot of interesting tool, and I'm really looking forward to what you guys will create with this tool, and do not hesitate to create tutorial using the tool. I would be glad that you did it, so more people are aware of this tool. If you're creating something interesting like a new character or stuff like that, don't hesitate to mention that you use the tool, and send me some pictures so I can share with the other people on social network, and to make some kind of community around Coiffure. And as well, if you notice some bug or if you have some feature requests, don't hesitate to contact me using ArtStation, for example, or I don't know if you can contact me on Gumroad, but etc. There is many ways to contact me, and voila, I think it's everything I had to say about Coiffure, and I hope you will enjoy the tool. So have a good day, bye.